London in 1666 was a bustling metropolis, teeming with life and commerce. Narrow, winding streets were crammed with tightly packed wooden buildings. Sanitation was poor, and the River Thames overflowed its banks, creating a breeding ground for disease. The city was a tinderbox, primed for disaster. The previous year, the Great Plague had ravaged London, killing thousands. The city was still recovering from this devastating epidemic. The plague had weakened the city's defences and left its citizens vulnerable. Londoners lived in constant fear of fire. Their homes were made of flammable materials, and open flames were used for cooking and heating. Fire was an ever-present danger, and it was only a matter of time before disaster struck. In the early hours of Sunday, September 2nd, 1666, a fire broke out in a baker's shop on Pudding Lane. The bakery was owned by Thomas Fariner, the King's baker. It is believed that the fire started accidentally, possibly from an unextinguished oven or a stray spark. The fire quickly spread through the bakery and to the adjacent buildings. The flames were fanned by a strong easterly wind, which carried burning debris to neighbouring streets. The fire spread rapidly through the densely packed wooden houses and shops. London's firefighting efforts at the time were rudimentary. Water was scarce and the fire pumps were ineffective against the rapidly spreading flames. The fire quickly overwhelmed the city's defences. The Great Fire raged for 4 days and nights, consuming everything in its path. The firestorm created its own weather system with strong winds and intense heat. The flames leaped across streets, engulfing entire neighbourhoods. People fled their homes in terror, carrying what few possessions they could. The streets were choked with refugees, carts and livestock. The Thames was filled with boats as people desperately sought to escape the inferno. The fire reached its peak on Tuesday, September 4th. St Paul's Cathedral, a symbol of London's strength, was consumed by the flames. The cathedral's lead roof melted, and its massive stone walls crumbled. Despite the chaos and destruction, there were acts of great courage and resilience. King Charles II, along with his brother, the Duke of York, personally directed firefighting efforts. They worked tirelessly to organise citizens and distribute aid. Samuel Pepys, a naval administrator and diarist, provided a vivid account of the fire in his diary. His writings offer a first-hand perspective on the events and the impact on the city and its people. Another key figure was Sir Christopher Wren, a renowned architect. Although the fire destroyed much of his work, Wren played a pivotal role in the rebuilding of London. Section 5, A City in Ashes, the immediate aftermath. By Thursday, September 6th, the fire had begun to subside. The once raging inferno that had consumed the city for days was finally losing its strength. The wind had died down and firefighters had finally managed to contain the blaze. These brave men, using nothing but buckets and primitive equipment, had fought tirelessly to save what was left of their beloved city. The Great Fire of London was extinguished, but the city lay in ruins. The once bustling streets were now eerily silent, filled only with the charred remains of buildings and the occasional sound of crumbling debris. An estimated 13,200 houses, 87 churches, and numerous other structures had been reduced to ashes. The scale of destruction was almost unimaginable. Countless businesses had been destroyed, leaving the economic heart of the city in tatters. Marketplaces that once bustled with activity were now nothing but smouldering ruins. Over 70,000 people, 2/3 of the city's population, were left homeless. Families wandered the streets searching for loved ones and salvaging what little they could from the wreckage. The fire had caused an estimated £10 million in damages, an astronomical sum at the time. The financial burden on the city and its residents was immense. The immediate aftermath of the fire was chaotic. People moved frantically, trying to salvage belongings and find a safe place to stay. The streets were crowded with displaced residents, each with their own story of loss and survival. The homeless sought shelter in makeshift camps outside the city walls. These temporary shelters became a refuge for families who had lost everything. Food and water were scarce, and disease was rampant. The lack of basic necessities made the already dire situation even more desperate. The city faced a monumental task to rebuild itself from the ashes. The road to recovery would be long and arduous, but the spirit of Londoners remained unbroken. They began the painstaking process of clearing debris and laying the foundations for a new beginning. Section 6. Rising from the rubble, the rebuilding of London. The rebuilding of London began almost immediately after the devastating Great Fire of 1666, which had left much of the city in ruins. King Charles II, recognizing the urgent need to restore the city, appointed a special commission to oversee the massive reconstruction effort. The commission, led by the brilliant architect Sir Christopher Wren, faced the daunting task of creating a new London from the ashes of the old. They had to balance the need for rapid rebuilding with the opportunity to redesign the city. Wren proposed a grand vision for a new London, with wide avenues, public squares, and buildings constructed of brick and stone to prevent future fires. His plans included majestic churches and public buildings that would stand the test of time. However, practical considerations, such as property rights, existing street layouts, and the urgent need for speed, meant that Wren's ambitious plans were only partially realized. Many property owners wanted to rebuild quickly to resume their businesses. Despite these challenges, the rebuilding effort was remarkably swift. The citizens of London, driven by resilience and determination, worked tirelessly to restore their city. Within a decade, London had been largely rebuilt, with new buildings rising from the ashes. The cityscape was transformed, blending Wren's visionary designs with practical necessities. The new city was a testament to the resilience and determination of its citizens, who had overcome one of the greatest disasters in their history to create a vibrant, thriving metropolis once again. Section 7. A new London emerges architectural transformation. While the Great Fire brought immense destruction, it also presented an opportunity to reshape London. The city was left in ruins, but this devastation paved the way for a new beginning. The fire cleared large areas, allowing for a comprehensive redesign of the urban landscape. The rebuilding efforts led to significant architectural changes, with a focus on fire safety and urban planning. Architects and planners seized this chance to implement modern ideas, creating a city that was not only more beautiful but also more resilient to future disasters. The use of timber in building construction was restricted, and brick and stone became the preferred materials. These materials were not only more durable, but also far less flammable, significantly reducing the risk of future fires. Streets were widened to create fire breaks and improve access for firefighters. This new layout not only enhanced safety, but also facilitated better traffic flow, contributing to a more organized and efficient city. New building codes were introduced, mandating the use of fire-resistant materials and the construction of party walls to prevent the spread of flames. These regulations ensured that buildings were constructed to higher safety standards, protecting both property and lives. The rebuilding of London also saw the emergence of new architectural styles. Influenced by contemporary European trends, these styles brought a fresh aesthetic to the city, blending functionality with elegance. Sir Christopher Wren designed numerous churches, including the iconic St. Paul's Cathedral, which became a symbol of London's resurgence. His innovative designs and visionary approach left a lasting legacy, transforming London into a city renowned for its architectural beauty and resilience. Section 8. Lasting impacts, social and economic changes. The Great Fire had a profound impact on London society. The destruction of homes and businesses led to widespread economic hardship. Many people were forced to leave the city and seek their fortunes elsewhere. However, the fire also had some positive social consequences. The rebuilding efforts created new jobs and stimulated the economy. The shared experience of the fire fostered a sense of community and resilience among Londoners. The fire also led to improvements in public health. The destruction of overcrowded slums and the introduction of new building codes helped to reduce the spread of disease. London emerged from the ashes a healthier and more resilient city. Section 9. Lessons learned, fire safety and urban planning. The Great Fire of London served as a stark reminder of the importance of fire safety and urban planning. The disaster highlighted the dangers of densely packed wooden buildings, inadequate firefighting equipment, and the lack of effective building codes. In the aftermath of the fire, cities across Europe learned from London's experience. They implemented stricter building codes, established fire brigades, and invested in firefighting equipment. The Great Fire of London marked a turning point in urban planning and fire safety. Section 10. The Great Fire's Legacy, a defining moment in London's history. The Great Fire of London was a defining moment in the city's history. It was a disaster of unprecedented scale, but it also revealed the resilience and determination of the human spirit. From the ashes of destruction, a new London emerged, stronger and more vibrant than ever before. The Great Fire continues to fascinate and inspire us today. It serves as a reminder of the importance of preparedness, the power of community, and the enduring human spirit in the face of adversity. The legacy of the Great Fire lives on in the fabric of London, a city forever shaped by its fiery past.